Hello, Jake. Are you ready for another exciting lesson today?
Absolutely, Emma. I always look forward to our lessons. What's the topic today?
Today, we're diving into some advanced idiomatic expressions. They can really bring your English to life.
That sounds great. Idioms are a fun way to express ideas. Which ones are we covering?
We'll explore phrases like bite the bullet, burn bridges, cut corners, jump the gun, and read between the lines.
I know a few of those. But let's refresh my memory. How do you suggest we start?
First, let's brainstorm examples of when you might use these idioms in conversation. Ready?
Sure, let's do it.
All right, let's begin with bite the bullet. Can you think of a situation that would fit this idiom?
Maybe if someone had to make a tough decision at work?
Exactly. Like when you have to bite the bullet and tell your boss about a mistake. Want to try using it in a sentence?
Sure, I didn't want to admit my error, but I had to bite the bullet. Did I get it right?
Perfect. Now, what about burn bridges? Can you use that in a context?
Don't want to burn my bridges with my friends. Like, if I said something rude to them?
Right. It's important to keep good relationships. Your sentence was close, but remember, burning bridges means damaging relationships permanently.
Got it. So, I can say, I don't want to burn bridges with my colleagues.
Spot on. Now try cut corners. When would we say that?
Maybe when someone is trying to save time or money by not doing something properly.
Absolutely. For example, he cut corners on the project, and it showed in the final result. You want to give it a go?
Sure, if you cut corners on your studies, you won't learn effectively. Does that work?
Exactly right. Now let's look at jump the gun. What comes to your mind?
How about when someone starts something too early? Like in a race?
Perfect. You could say, she jumped the gun and began the meeting before everyone arrived.
That's great. I'll remember that one. What about read between the lines?
Read between the lines means to understand something that isn't directly said. Can you use it?
I might be able to say, if you read between the lines, you can tell she's not happy.
That's well done. You've captured the meaning perfectly. Now, let's move into our dialogue. Hey, Jake, I wanted to talk about my recent presentation at work.
Sure, what happened? Was it good?
Well, it could have been better. I felt nervous and almost jumped the gun a bit.
Oh no, you don't want to jump the gun. What part did you rush?
I started discussing the results before my colleagues had a chance to introduce themselves.
That's tough. But hey, mistakes happen. Did you have to bite the bullet and apologize?
I did. I had to bite the bullet and say, my bad, I should have waited.
That was brave of you. Did you feel relief after apologizing?
Definitely. It felt good to clear the air. But I also learned not to cut corners next time.
Good point. Cutting corners in presentations can lead to confusion.
Exactly. I need to plan better to avoid any misunderstandings.
That makes sense. And how did your colleagues react?
Most were understanding, but a few seemed annoyed. I could read between the lines.
Reading between the lines is a skill. Sometimes people won't say what they really feel.
Exactly. I could tell they wanted more time to present their ideas.
It's interesting how we sometimes overlook these cues until it's too late.
True. I've noticed that in meetings too, it's vital to pay attention.
Absolutely. So, what will you change for your next presentation?
I'll make sure to give everyone a chance to speak first. No jumping the gun next time.
Smart decision. It's better to build rapport than burn bridges.
Exactly, and I want to strengthen those relationships, not damage them.
I admire your attitude. Learning from these experiences is key.
Thanks, Jake. Now, let's move on to the explanations for our idioms. We've already discussed the idioms in context, but let's clarify their meanings. Bite the bullet means to face a tough situation bravely. For example, you might say, I didn't want to go to the dentist, but I had to bite the bullet. Next, burn bridges means to damage relationships, often irreparably. For instance, if you leave without notice, you might burn bridges with that company. Cut corners refers to doing something in a cheaper or quicker way, often risking quality. An example is, if you cut corners in your homework, you won't learn the material well. Then we have jump the gun, which means to act too soon. For instance, you might say, don't jump the gun. Wait for all the facts first. Finally, read between the lines is about understanding underlying meanings. You could say, when she said she was fine, I could read between the lines that she was not.
Those examples are helpful, Emma. They really clarify the idioms.
I'm glad to hear that. Now, let's practice using these expressions in real contexts. Imagine you're planning a trip. How could you use bite the bullet during this planning?
I think I'd say something like, I don't really want to book the expensive hotel, but I have to bite the bullet and do it.
Excellent. That's a perfect use of the idiom. What about burn bridges? Can you relate it to your travel plans?
Okay, I could say, if I cancel my flight last minute, I might burn bridges with the airline.
That's spot on. Now, talking about budget, when could you say you cut corners while planning?
I'd probably say, if I cut corners and go for the cheapest options for everything, the trip might not be enjoyable.
Perfect. Now let's talk about jump the gun in the context of trip preparation.
I think I might say, if I jump the gun and pack too early, I might forget important things.
Exactly. And finally, how about read between the lines in that planning process?
I could say, when my friends act excited about the trip, I read between the lines that they might be nervous about it too.
Fantastic example. You really captured the essence of the idiom. Now, let's go over the vocabulary we've learned today. Bite the bullet. 1. I might have to bite the bullet and go for a checkup. 2. Sometimes we just have to bite the bullet when making difficult choices. 3. It's tough, but you'll have to bite the bullet and admit your mistake. Burn bridges. 1. Always be respectful to your coworkers. You don't want to burn bridges. 2. If you leave without saying goodbye, you might burn bridges. 3. Think carefully before you act. Burning bridges could come back to haunt you. Cut corners. 1. He cut corners on his project, which resulted in failures. 2. If you cut corners when cooking, the meal might not taste right. 3. I was tempted to cut corners, but I knew it would hurt my reputation. Jump the gun. 1. She jumped the gun by announcing her promotion too early. 2. Don't jump the gun. Wait until the presentation is finished. 3. We need to wait for the signal, or we'll just be jumping the gun. Read between the lines. 1. He seemed happy, but I could read between the lines that he was unsure. 2. Sometimes it's better to read between the lines than take everything at face value. 3. When reading her email, I had to read between the lines to understand her true feelings.
These sentences really help clarify each idiom's proper use. Thanks, Emma.
You're welcome. Now, let's do a quick review with some questions. First question. What does bite the bullet mean?
It means to face a tough situation bravely.
Correct. Next. When might someone burn bridges?
When they damage a relationship, often permanently.
Absolutely. How about using cut corners in a sentence?
You might say, if you cut corners on your assignment, your grades might suffer.
Well done. Now, what does it mean to jump the gun?
It means to act too soon.
Right again. Finally, what does it mean to read between the lines?
To understand something that isn't directly stated.
Perfect. You've mastered today's vocabulary.
Thanks. This was really fun and informative.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Next lesson, we'll discuss common phrasal verbs. They're crucial for fluency.
Sounds great. I'm looking forward to it.